Hey everyone, welcome to That's Good Denver. I'm your host, Chris Romeo. And in this video, I'm going to be doing a recap of the Colorado Avalanche season as they finish the season 50-26 in like 7 overtimes with 107 points in the season. The Avalanche finished the regular season in 4th place in the West. Not bad. The Avalanche did clinch a playoff spot in like the middle of March, so they had that playoff spot locked up. Avalanche, I think, could have finished a higher seed in the playoffs for sure, but either way, they would have been playing the Winnipeg Jets in the first round. I'm not really sure why the Avalanche are playing the Jets in the first round, because the Avalanche had the 4 seed and the Jets had like the 2 seed. So I don't know. Hockey standings, I think, can be a little confusing. I also don't know a lot about hockey. I just follow the Avalanche. But, yeah, I'm doing this video while I'm driving because I've been super busy lately, and one of the only times I have time.
In a half mile, at the traffic circle, take the first exit onto North Zimmer Road.
Yeah, so that's why you hear my GPS. But the Avalanche, they started off the season very strong, 6-0. They won their first 6 straight games. Then they played pretty good hockey for a while. They got into a little bit of a slump, I think, in November for about a week, but then bounced right back. Avalanche were looking really strong in January. Then in February, I remember the Avalanche had 6 straight games, and a 6-game road trip coming up, which is a really long road trip. They lost 5 of those 6 games on the road, which was really bad.
Exit the traffic circle onto North Zimmer Road.
It was not a good road trip at all.
Continue
It kind of
North
sucked
Zimmer Road
because
for 1 mile.
the Nuggets were on a 3-game losing streak at that time too in February. But the Avalanche bounced back and actually went on a 9-game winning streak. It wasn't 9 games. It felt like it was more like a 10-game winning streak the Avalanche were on. They lost a game to the Predators, but then they were on a roll. It started with beating the Blackhawks and then beating the Red Wings, the game I went to in Denver. So yeah, that was a really good run, and the Avalanche had a couple nice comebacks. They had a 4-3 comeback against the Canucks on the road after being down 3-0. They also beat the Canucks again in that winning streak. So yeah, that was pretty cool to see the Avalanche beat the Canucks twice, especially since the Canucks they had got the number 2 seed. Winnipeg got the number 3 seed, but yeah, the Canucks were actually the 1 seed at the time. So I'll break this down as best as I can. I don't know a whole lot about hockey, but I do know a lot of players on the Avalanche. So Nathan MacKinnon, he's had a historic year. He finished this regular season with 130 points.
In 1,000 feet, turn left onto West Winona Avenue.
Like a 40 game straight home point streak for Nathan MacKinnon, which was unbelievable to see.
Take the next left onto West Winona
Nathan MacKinnon
Avenue.
was on an absolute roll. Even if he didn't score a goal, he at least got an assist in just about every home game, which is pretty incredible. And no other hockey players have been able to do that this year. So that was pretty incredible. Nathan MacKinnon's the best player in the Avalanche, and I expect him to have another great playoff this year, Nathan MacKinnon. Then you got our second best player, I would say, which would be Cale Makar.
Continue on West Winona Avenue for 1.5 miles.
Yeah, Cale Makar, who made it on the NHL cover. That's why I'm a Cale Makar lover. He played really good defense, got some goals here and there. So I expect a good playoff from him. I was surprised he made it on the NHL cover, but I guess he's not as good as I thought he was. But yeah, I expect him to have a good playoffs. Then you got Mikko Rantanen. Hopefully he makes up in the playoffs this year because he had a big offsides against the Kraken in Game 7. I was also at that game too, where the Avalanche had a chance to tie it with a Nathan MacKinnon goal, but they reviewed it and took the goal away. And the Avalanche lost that game 2-1. But yeah, I expect Mikko Rantanen to have a good playoff, and that leaves us with players like Miles Wood. He's a good rookie. Then got Ryan Johansson, who I think had a pretty good year. Same with Alexander Luckinen. I thought he had a really good year. Oh, and one guy I need to talk about is Valeri Nichushkin. Valeri Nichushkin went off this year. I would say I expect him to have a big playoffs. He should be a starter, Valeri Nichushkin. There was a point in between middle of February to about middle of March, something like that, to where Valeri Nichushkin had a goal in every single game. Some games he had 2 to 3 goals, which was crazy. There might have even been a game where I don't think Nichushkin had a hat trick in any of those games, but he was going off, Valeri Nichushkin. And then Nathan McKinnon had a couple hat tricks in this season, which was really cool to see. And Cale Makar had a hat trick at the game I went to when the Avalanche played the Red Wings
turn right onto South Buffalo Street.
Cale Makar had a hat trick, and everyone was throwing their hats on the floor, which was pretty funny to see. But yeah, that's about a breakdown of all the players. And now the Avalanche play the Winnipeg Jets in the first round of the playoffs. It would have probably been a home playoff series if the Avalanche didn't fall behind to the Winnipeg Jets. But
at the light, turn right onto South Buffalo Street.
Yeah, the Winnipeg Jets play on the road. They'll play at Winnipeg for Game 1 Sunday at 7 o'clock. Honestly, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling pretty much great about the Nuggets heading the playoffs.
Continue for half a mile.
But I'm not feeling great about the Avalanche heading the playoffs. The Avalanche, after that 9-game winning streak, they really sputtered towards the end of the year. Alexander Georgiev, our goalie, was playing really bad a lot of times, which is ironic because Alexander Georgiev had some good games this year, and he made an all-star team. But, the way he plays sometimes just isn't good enough. And another thing that worries me about, I'm worried about Georgiev in the series, especially since the Avalanche gave up 7 goals to the Winnipeg Jets. They lost 7-0 against the Winnipeg Jets the last game of the season for the Avalanche, or it was last Saturday. But yeah, that was very ugly to watch. I had to turn that game off. And so yeah, they lost 7-0. And the Avalanche are 0-3.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto South County Farm Road, Ranch Road.
Shut up, GPS. But yeah, the Avalanche are 0-3 against the Winnipeg Jets in the regular season this year. So Winnipeg might be favored
in this series.
Turn left onto
South County Farm Road, Ranch Road.
But that's not to say that the Avalanche can't beat the Winnipeg Jets this year in the playoffs. The Avalanche have beaten some really good teams. I'll get into a minute my top 5 favorite wins for the Avalanche this season. They're against some pretty good teams.
Continue on South County Farm Road for 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah, I'm actually driving to my brother Abraham's in Warsaw, so I think I'm going to be arriving there in 2 minutes. But yeah, I think the Avalanche got a good shot at beating Winnipeg Jets in the first round, and I think the Avalanche got a good shot at beating a lot of teams in the playoffs, and I think the Avalanche could low-key win the Stanley Cup if they have good goaltending and if they get a lot of goals, shots on goal, because a lot of those shots on goal will fall for the Avalanche, because I think they do have the firepower with Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar on offense. It's just their goaltending that needs to be a lot better with Alexander Georgiev, and I think he knows that. But I think the Avalanche could be really good in the playoffs and make a run, because they beat the Canucks twice this year. They beat the Dallas Stars 3 times. Twice was on the road.
Mile, turn right onto Salmon Drive.
2 of those Avalanche wins against the Dallas Stars was incredible comebacks. One of them was in the last 3 minutes being down 2 goals, and one of them was they were down 3-0, I think. But yeah, I think the Avalanche
take
could
the next right onto
make
Salmon
the
Drive,
playoffs.
then turn right onto Ringneck Trail.
Okay. Yeah, so I will do an NHL playoff prediction video, but before I end this video, I'm going to get into my top 5 favorite games for the Avalanche this year. Alright, so yeah, I'm at my brother Abraham's house. I'll have to go in and see him in about 2 or 3 minutes. But my top 5 favorite games for the Avalanche this year, my fifth favorite, or I'll go start with my first favorite game. My first favorite game wasn't the game I went to against the Red Wings, because the Avalanche should have won that game against the Red Wings. The Red Wings didn't even make the playoffs. My first favorite game was the 3-0 comeback for the Avalanche against the Vancouver Canucks this year. The Avalanche were down 3-0 going into the last period, and the Avalanche just stormed back. They get 2 goals, I think, from Nathan MacKinnon. Then they get a goal from, Mikko Rantanen. They tie the game 3-3 going into overtime. The Avalanche get a goal in overtime to beat the Canucks 4-3. Avalanche beat the Canucks in overtime at Vancouver, and the Avalanche won a huge game. That gave the shot for the Avalanche to catch the Canucks in the standings. So that was my first favorite. My second favorite game for the Avalanche this year, I would say 2 of my favorite games were against the Stars this year, honestly. My second favorite game was the 3-0 comeback with the Avalanche beating the Stars 6-3 after being down 3-0, which is crazy. This game was in November, so nobody really cares about November in hockey, but this is an incredible game. Avalanche were down 3-0 in the second period. I think they got a goal before the end of the second period. Then the Avalanche get 2 quick goals to start the third period, tie the game 3-3. I was shocked. Then the Avalanche take a 4-3 lead with 5 minutes left in the third period. Then they get 2 empty net goals for the Avalanche to win 6-3 over the Stars. That was a big comeback. Then I'll say my third favorite game. My third favorite game from the Avalanche this year was when the Avalanche beat the Red Wings. The game I went to, it was a great time. Avalanche fell behind 2-1 early, or they were down 1-0. They tied it 1-1. I think with Nathan MacKinnon. Then Avalanche were down 2-1. Then they tied it 2-2 with another Nathan MacKinnon, or no, it was Cale Makar goal that tied it 2-2 going into the second period. Then the Avalanche got a goal from Mikko Rantanen. Then the Avalanche got another goal from Cale Makar with just a couple minutes left in the second period. Then with just a second left, Cale Makar got another goal before the end of the second period to put the Avalanche up 5-2. That was Cale Makar's third goal of the game. I think everyone was throwing their hats for the hat trick for Cale Makar. Avalanche were up 5-2. Then they just coasted and dominated the rest of the game in the third period. In the second period, Avalanche get another goal from Cale Makar, I think, in the third period. Then they get an insurance goal to put them out 7-2. Avalanche destroy the Red Wings. The game I went to 7-2. Avalanche won their first game for me in person. Then my fourth favorite game was the game against the Stars. Avalanche were down 4-2 against the Stars. Avalanche were down 4-2 with 5 minutes left. They get a goal from, I think, Mikko Rantanen. Then Nathan MacKinnon ties it with a goal with just 30 seconds left to tie it 4-4. Then Nathan MacKinnon, Nate the Great, in overtime gets a game-winning goal against the Stars in overtime to win it 5-4. That was Nathan MacKinnon's second straight game winner to beat the Stars 5-4. Then my fifth favorite game to watch, my fifth and final, was when the Avalanche beat the Canucks 2-1. So the Canucks started off the game up 1-0. This game was in Denver and Colorado. Canucks go up 1-0. Then Cale Makar gets a goal to tie it 1-1. Then Nathan MacKinnon gets a goal in the third period to put the Avalanche up 2-1. And then the Canucks could have tied it with a game-tying goal, but it was an offsides that they reviewed. And then great goaltending by Alexander Georgiev in this game. Probably one of his best games of the year. He was making some incredible saves. Avalanche win 2-1. Those are my top 5 games. My top 5 favorite games from the Avalanche this year. And I'm not going to keep my brother waiting anymore, so I'm going to head in. But that's the Avalanche that's the Avalanche breakdown of the season. They finished 4th in the West, 107 points, and I think the Avalanche got a shot to go on another Stanley Cup run. Same with the Nuggets, if the Avalanche can get some good goaltending, and if the Nuggets could beat the Lakers in the first round, which is going to be tough. But that's it, everybody. That's my breakdown of the Avalanche. And now, later tonight, I'm going to try to get some breakdown videos. I'm going to try to do an NHL and NBA playoff prediction video. It's just been hard because I had a lab exam that I think I did really well on yesterday, and I have some computer applications homework, and I have a week left in this semester for my senior year, so I got a lot of work to do. I'm not graduating yet, but I got a week left in my senior year, so it's a grind. But yeah, I'll get those NHL and NBA playoff predictions out to you guys soon. And I'm Chris Romeo. Like, subscribe, comment. I'm Chris Romeo, and that's good, Denver. Go Avalanche and go Nuggets in the playoffs, baby.